Hello and welcome to my channel. Today's video we are going to be making these two little cute mice. They are what I consider a no-sew body, which means we're going to start by making the arms, then we're going to make the legs, then we're going to move on to the top of the head, work our way down, attach the arms, do the body. We're going to add the eyes, stuff him, add the legs, and then close. And then we will have to sew on the muzzle and the nose and the ears, and then any little bit of embroidery and little touches we do. And then at the very end, I'm going to add the little scarf and then the little bow. For this video, I will be using a number 4 medium weight yarn, a 4.25 millimeter hook, and 14 millimeter safety eyes. This is a crochet along, so I will be doing every stitch with you, and I am also providing a drop down at the top of the screen with the pattern instructions for the first 30 seconds of every row for you to follow along with. And if you enjoyed this video, please hit the subscribe button and click that bell. Not only does that help me out, but you will also be notified every time I load a new video, as well as any likes, shares, and comments are always appreciated. Okay, I think that's everything. So grab your yarn and let's get started. Okay, we are going to begin with the arm, and you can start any way you prefer as long as you have the same amount of stitches in row 1. I'll be making a knot with the loop on the end as if I was going to be making a chain. Insert my hook, grab my yarn, pull through, and chain 1. And remember, that does not count as a stitch. That just attaches our yarn to our loop. And for row 1, we're going to do 6 single crochets into the loop over top of our tail. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then pull that tail if you need to close that hole. Grab a stitch marker if you're using one. And for row 2, we are going to do 6 increases, so that's 2 single crochets in every stitch all the way around for a total of 12. So increase 1 and 2, increase 3 and 4, increase 5 and 6, increase 7 and 8, increase 9 and 10, and our last increase 11 and 12. Row 3, we are going to do 12 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Row 4, 12 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Row 5, 12 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Row 6, 12 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Row 7, we are going to do 1 single crochet, 1 decrease, repeat that all the way around for a total of 8. So 1 single crochet for 1, 1 decrease for 2, and repeat that around. Single crochet, 3, decrease, 4, 5, decrease, for 6, 7, and our last decrease, oops, for 8. Rows 8 to 16 are just going to be 8 single crochets all the way around, and I'm going to do those consecutively. So that's 9 rows of 8. 8 times 9 is 72, so I'm going to do 72 single crochets and then flip my marker every time I hit a set of 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, flipping my marker, keep on counting, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, flipping my marker, keep on counting, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, flipping my marker, keep on counting, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 32, flipping my marker, keep on counting, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, flipping my marker, keep on counting, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, whoopsie, 47, 48, flipping my marker, keep on counting, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, flipping my marker, keep on counting, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, flipping my marker, keep on counting, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72. All right, let's just take our hook out. And take your marker out too if you want. We're going to add our stuffing now, so get that ready. All right, so grab about a handful of stuffing. You're going to separate it in half. And then take your one side and slip that in half too. And we're going to stuff down into the bottom of the hand. Now it is a bit of a small hole, so you may need to use something like your scissors or whatever you have available to kind of poke that down nice and tight into the bottom. Then you'll take your second half, do the same thing. Ultimately, what you want is the bottom of your hand to be kind of round, nice and firm, and then you're going to grab your other chunk that you put to the side, and we're just going to lightly and evenly stuff up the arm. So you want that to go down to the bottom, but you don't want to compact it down. So you want this, so this is nice and hard, and then this is going to be kind of squishy. So it's almost flat, but you have stuffing inside. So when you have enough in there, I think I have a little more than enough, but let's just see. That's still okay. You just don't want the arm to be full and round, otherwise it's going to stick straight out instead of kind of fold down and around your little body of your mouse. All right, so now we're going to close this, and what we're going to do is we're going to go in the next stitch and then the last stitch. So just like that. And then we're going to do 3 single crochets across through both sides. So 1, make sure you're on both sides, front and back, 2, and then on the end here, 3. Then you can tie that off, leave yourself a little bit of a tail. Even though we don't sew these on, I do something at the end to help secure them a little bit. So if you are done your first arm, I am going to be leaving a screenshot over in the next frame with a timestamp so you can go back and do your second arm. And if you are done your second arm, just keep on watching and we will move on to the next part. All right, now we're going to be starting on the leg, and I'm going to be starting with pink as my accent color, but if you want to do the leg all in a solid color, you'll just do your main color. And I'm going to be making a knot with a loop on the end because we're going to be chaining. You can make yours however you are used to making yours. What I do is I fold my yarn in half, I wrap that around my finger, and I bring that loop down, around, and through. Pinch the top, and then I slide that knot up, and I want that loop to be just a little bit bigger than my hook. And we are going to chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now starting in the second chain from your hook, so not the one on your hook. Here's your first one, here's your second one. We're going to do 1 single crochet on the end. And then we're going to do 3 single crochets across. 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to do 3 single crochets in this end stitch, and we're going to pivot around so we end up on the other side of our chain. So 1, turn a little bit, 2, and turn all the way around, 3, and those were all in that same end stitch. Now we're going to do 3 single crochets across. 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to do 2 single crochets on this end. 1, 2. Now grab a stitch marker if you're using one. Row 2, we are going to start in this stitch on this side with 1 increase. So that's 1 and 2 in the same stitch on the end. Then we're going to do 3 single crochets across. 1, 2, 3. And now we're going to do 3 increases around this end. So increase, and we're turning as we go. That's 1, increase, that's 2, increase, that's 3. And now we're going to do 3 single crochets across. 1, 2, 3. And now we have 2 increases on this end, so we're going to do our first increase. And then we're going to change color on this one, so we're going to start our increase. We're going to do 1 increase, and then on our second stitch in that same one, we are just going to do the 2 loops and stop. And now we're going to change our color if you're changing color. So I'm going to cut that, leaving enough yarn to tie. Then you're going to grab your new color, so your main color, and you're going to tie that on nice and close, as tight as you can to your hook, 2 or 3 times. mess that up. There we go. Then when you have that tied, you're going to grab your new color and you're going to pull it through those last 2 loops of your increase to finish off that row. All right, row 3, we are going to start off with 1 single crochet and 1 increase on the end. So single crochet, increase. And then we're going to do 3 single crochets across. 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to do 1 single crochet, 1 increase 3 times around this end. So single crochet, increase. That's once. Single crochet, increase. That's twice. Single crochet, increase. That's 3 times. Now we're going to do our 3 single crochets across. 1, 2, 3. Now we're going to do single crochet, increase 2 times on this end. So single crochet, increase. That's once. Single crochet, increase. That's twice. Row 4, we are going to do 24 single crochets all the way around. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Row 5, we're going to do 24 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Row 6, we're going to do 24 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Row 7, we are going to start off with 6 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And now we are going to do 6 invisible decreases. And for an invisible decrease, you're going to grab these 2 front loops. So you're going to go down and up and come up through that V. And then you're going to do the same thing on the next stitch. Grab that front loop. And then you grab your yarn. You're going to go through those first 2 front loops. And then you're going to grab your yarn again and go through the 2 loops on your hook. So front loop, so that's once. And then front loop. Front loop, grab your yarn and pull through, grab your yarn and pull through again. So that's 2. Another whoops, make sure you're getting only the front loops. So another invisible decrease. That's 3. Invisible decrease. That's 4. Invisible decrease. That's 5. Invisible decrease. Remember to stay in the front loops only. That's 6. And now we should have 6 single crochets to finish off that row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Row 8, we are going to start off with 3 single crochets. 1, 2, 3. And now we're going to do 6 invisible decreases. So remember, in the front loops of the next 2 stitches, grab your yarn and pull through, grab your yarn, pull through again. So that's once, invisible decrease, that's 2, invisible decrease, that's 3, invisible decrease, that's 4, invisible decrease, that's 5, invisible decrease, that's 6. And then we should have 3 stitches left over to finish off the row. 1, 2, and 3. All right, rows 9 to 16 are just going to be 12 single crochets around, and I'm going to do those consecutively again. So that's 8 rows of 12. 8 times 12 is 96, so I'm going to do 96 single crochets and then flip my marker every time I hit a set of 12. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Flip the marker, but keep on counting. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, flipping my marker, keep on counting, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, flipping my marker, keep on counting, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, flipping my marker, keep on counting, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, flipping my marker, keep on counting, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72. Flipping my marker, keep on counting, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, flipping my marker, keep on counting, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96. And now we can take our hook out and our stitch marker. And we're going to grab our stuffing. We'll probably need a fair-sized handful, and I'm going to split that in half. And then I'm going to split that in half again. And now we're going to put this first chunk up into the toes. So what I like to do is get it down up inside. I use the palm of my hand to kind of keep the foot flat, and then I kind of sweep my finger up into the toes to get that nice and firm. Then I'm going to grab my second batch of stuffing, and I'm just going to put it down in the heel. I might add a little bit more just because it's not quite as firm as I want. So I scooch that up into the toe again, and now I'm going to put another little batch into the heel. Just remember, as you're stuffing, you don't want to open up these stitches where you did all your decreases. And then you're going to grab your other batch of stuffing, and we're going to put that up into the leg. Fairly firm, but not all the way to the top. So what I've done is I've left about the top 2 rows open so that when we attach it, we can have kind of a triangle shape, so his belly will kind of fit over his legs and he doesn't tip backwards. Now let's insert our hook back in. And just like we did with the arms, we are going to go in the next stitch. And then we're going to go in the last stitch. And what we're going to do is 2 single crochets, an increase, and 2 single crochets for a total of 6. Make sure you go through both the front and the back of the leg. 1, 2, and then we're going to do an increase through the front and the back. So that's 3 and 4 in that same stitch, and then 2 more single crochets, 5 and 6 on the end there. And then again, you're going to tie off, leave a little bit of a tail. We'll just be tying these on the inside, but you want to have enough string to maneuver in there. So if you have just finished your first leg, again, I will be putting a screenshot with a timestamp over in the next frame so you can go back and do your second leg. And if you have just finished your second leg, just keep on watching and we'll move on to the next part. Okay, now we are going to start at the top of the head, and again, you can begin any way you prefer as long as you have the same amount of stitches in row 1. I'll be doing my knot with the loop on the end like I was going to be making a chain. Insert my hook, grab my yarn, pull through, and chain 1. And remember, that does not count as a stitch. That's just attaching our yarn to our loop. And for row 1, we're going to do 6 single crochets into the loop over top of the tail. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then pull that tail to close that hole if you need to. Grab a stitch marker if you're using one. And for row 2, we are going to do 6 increases, so that's 2 single crochets in every stitch all the way around for a total of 12. So increase 1 and 2 in the same stitch. Increase 3 and 4. Increase 5 and 6. Increase 7 and 8. Increase 9 and 10. And our last increase, 11 and 12. Row 3, we are going to do 1 single crochet, 1 increase, repeat that around for a total of 18. So 1, increase, 2 and 3, and repeat that around. 4, increase, 5 and 6, 7, increase, 8 and 9, 10, increase, 11 and 12, 13, increase, 14 and 15, 16, and our last increase, 17 and 18. Row 4, we are going to do 2 single crochets, 1 increase, repeat that all the way around for a total of 24. 1, 2, increase, 3 and 4, and repeat that around. 5, 6, increase, 7 and 8, 9, 10, increase, 11 and 12, 13, 14, increase, 15 and 16, 17, 18, increase, 19 and 20, 21, 22, and our last increase, 23 and 24. Row 5, we are going to do 3 single crochets, 1 increase, repeat that all the way around for a total of 30. 1, 2, 3, increase, 4 and 5. Repeat that around. 6, 7, 8, increase, 9 and 10. 11, 12, 13, increase, 14 and 15. 16, 17, 18, increase, 19 and 20, 21, 22, 23, increase, 24 and 25, 26, 27, 28, oops, I missed a thread there. I'm going to redo the 28 here. So still on 28, then our last increase, 29 and 30. Row 6, we are going to do 4 single crochets, 1 increase, repeat that all the way around for a total of 36. 1, 2, 3, 4, increase, 5 and 6. And repeat that around. 7, 8, 9, 10, increase, 11 and 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, increase, 17 and 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, increase, 23 and 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, increase, 29 and 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, and our last increase, 35 and 36. Row 7, we are going to do 5 single crochets, 1 increase, repeat that all the way around for a total of 42. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and an increase, 6 and 7. And repeat that around. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, increase, 13 and 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, increase, 20 and 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, increase, 27 and 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, and an increase, 34 and 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, and an increase, 41 and 42. Row 8, we are going to do 42 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42. Row 9, 42 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42. Row 10, 42 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42. Row 11, 42 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42. Row 12, 42 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42. Row 13, 42 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42. Row 14, 42 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42. Row 15, we are going to do 5 single crochets, 1 decrease, repeat that all the way around for a total of 36. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a decrease for 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and a decrease for 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and a decrease for 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and a decrease for 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and a decrease for 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, and our last decrease for 36. Row 16, we are going to do 4 single crochets, 1 decrease, repeat that all the way around for a total of 30. 1, 2, 3, 4, and a decrease for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and a decrease for 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and a decrease for 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and a decrease for 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, and a decrease for 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and our last decrease for 30. Row 17, we are going to do 3 single crochets, 1 decrease, repeat that all the way around for a total of 24. 1, 2, 3, and a decrease for 4, 5, 6, 7, and a decrease for 8, 9, 10, 11, and a decrease for 12, 13, 14, 15, and a decrease for 16, 17, 18, 19, and a decrease for 20, 21, 22, 23, and a decrease for 24. Row 18, we are going to do 2 single crochets, 1 decrease, repeat that all the way around for a total of 18. 1, 2, decrease for 3, 4, 5, decrease for 6, 7, 8, decrease for 9, 10, 11, decrease for 12, 13, 14, decrease for 15, 16, 17, and our last decrease for 18. All right, now we're gonna do the arms, so you want to get those ready, and I'm gonna change camera angles. Hopefully that'll help see better, and I will join you right back to add the arms. Okay. All right, so we are going to begin row 19 with 3 single crochets. So 1, 2, 3. Now grab your arm, and keeping in mind that where your stitch marker is the back, you want to have your arm with your strings facing the front. And we are going to do 3 single crochets through the arm and through the head. So into that first single crochet and into the next stitch of the head. So that's 1, through the arm and the next stitch of the head. That's 2, and then through the arm and the next stitch of the head. That's 3. And now we're going to do 6 single crochets across, and make sure you're in the next stitch because it's really easy to go into that same stitch you just went in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And now grab your other arm, and again, make sure that your string is facing the front. And we're going to do 3 single crochets through the arm and the next stitch in the head. So 1, sorry if my fingers are in the way, through the arm and the next stitch of the head. That's 2, through the arm and the next stitch of the head. That's 3. And then you should have 3 single crochets left to finish off the row. And again, make sure you go in the right stitch. 1, 2, 3. Okay, for row 20, we are going to do 2 single crochets, 1 increase, repeat that all the way around for a total of 24. So 1, 2, and an increase, 3 and 4, 5, 6, increase, 7 and 8. And when you get to your arm strings, make sure they stay on the outside because that's where we'll need them for later. 9, 10, increase, 11 and 12, 13, 14, increase, 15 and 16, 17, 18, increase, 19 and 20, 21, 22, and our last increase, 23 and 24. Row 21, we are going to do 24 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Row 22, we are going to do 3 single crochets, 1 increase, repeat that all the way around for a total of 30. 1, 2, 3, and an increase, 4 and 5, 6, 7, 8, and an increase, 9 and 10, 11, 12, 13, increase, 14 and 15, 16, 17, 18, increase, 19 and 20, 21, 22, 23, increase, 24 and 25, 26, 27, 28, increase, 29 and 30. Row 23, we are going to do 30 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Row 24, we are going to do 4 single crochets, 1 increase, repeat that all the way around for a total of 36. 1, 2, 3, 4, and an increase, 5 and 6. 7, 8, 9, 10, increase, 11 and 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, increase, 17 and 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, increase, 23 and 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, increase, 29 and 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, and our last increase, 35 and 36. Row 25, we're going to do 36 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. Row 26, we're going to do 36 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. Row 27, 36 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. Row 28, 36 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. Row 29, 36 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. Row 30, we are going to do 4 single crochets, 1 decrease. Repeat that all the way around for a total of 30. 1, 2, 3, 4, and a decrease for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and a decrease for 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and a decrease for 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and a decrease for 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, and a decrease for 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and a decrease for 30. Row 31, we are going to do 3 single crochets, 1 decrease. Repeat that all the way around for a total of 24. 1, 2, 3, and a decrease for 4. 5, 6, 7, and a decrease for 8, 9, 10, 11, and a decrease for 12, 13, 14, 15, and a decrease for 16, 17, 18, 19, and a decrease for 20, 21, 22, 23, and a decrease for 24. All right, we're going to add a few things now. So what you want to do now is get your guy nice and flat, using your arms for your center. Flatten out the head. And we're going to add the eyes first, so get them ready. And what we're going to do is we're going to find our first starting center loop. And that's going to be row 1, and we're going to go down 10 rows. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then just in between rows 10 and 11, we're going to put our hook or our needle, or mark that. We're just finding the row for now, and then we're going to make sure our guy's nice and flat. And then we're just going to decide where our center is. And if you just kind of count the stitches on the neck, you can kind of see. So this is about my center of my neck. So I think I'm going to have mine right here. And I'm putting mine in a stitch, not in a hole. So this is my stitch, and I've got a hole on each side of my pin where I've marked it. Have another, just double check, and if you're happy with that, what you're going to do is you're going to go over 4 holes. So that hole right beside your needle, 1, 2, 3, 4, and in that 4th hole. And then you're going to do the same thing on the other side. You're going to find that hole right beside your needle, 1, 2, 3, 4, and you're going to go in that 4th stitch. Okay, just have another quick look. Make sure they're where you want them. I think mine are okay. My knots are throwing me off a little bit, but I think they're where I want them. And if you're happy with them, we're going to place our thumb on our eye, and we're going to push it up and out through the neck. And that'll make it a lot easier for you to add your back. So get that on there nice and tight, and then you can do the same thing for the other eye. Place your thumb on there and push it in and around through the neck so you can see that post nice and easy. Then we'll squish that one down. Now we're going to add the legs. And if for some reason we're not in the exact same spot, I'm going to show you how to get your legs even on the front, or if you're left-handed and you're going the other way. Usually the row is backwards if you're left-handed. So what we want to do is we want to have 12 stitches across the front. Then we want to have 12 stitches staggered on either side in the back. So we are going this way. So I want to start counting over here, and I want to count 12 stitches across. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And that is where my leg will go, the very first stitch of my leg. Remember, if you're left-handed, you may be on this side and going this way. Okay, I'm just going to grab something to mark that. So let's get our hook back in. And we are going to begin with 8 single crochets. And if your number is different, don't worry. You'll just be adjusting the numbers on this side when you get there. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And that brings me to where we marked, which means this will be the first stitch of our leg. So I can take that out now. And we're going to grab our first leg. You want to make sure that the toe is facing the body. And we are going to do 6 single crochets through the leg and through the body, just like when we did the arms. So through the leg and then through the next stitch of the body. So that's 1 through the leg and the next stitch of the body. That's 2 through the leg and the next stitch of the body. That's 3 through the leg and the next stitch of the body. That's 4 through the leg and the next stitch of the body. That's 5 through the leg and the next stitch of the body. That's 6. Then we're going to flip this string to the inside because we're going to tie that later. Grab your second leg. Make sure the toes are facing the body. And the same thing, 6 single crochets through the leg and the next stitch of the body. Make sure you're in the next stitch because it is tricky to tell which one sometimes. That's 1 through the leg, through the next stitch of the body. That's 2 through the leg, through the next stitch of the body. That's 3 through the leg, through the next stitch of the body. That's 4 through the leg, through the next stitch of the body. That's 5 and through the leg and the next stitch of the body. Flip that string to the inside. And then we should have 4 single crochets left unless you had to adjust this side, and it'll be whatever. So like I had 8 and I should have 12. So 12 minus 8 means I have 4 on this side. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we might as well just tie our legs together while we're here. So you're just going to grab those 2 leg tails and you're going to loosely tie them so you're not pulling your legs together. So leave some tension there. So just loosely and then slowly tighten. just so they're out of your way and secure. And we'll cut those ends. And then we might as well add our stuffing now as well. We'll stuff the head at least. I don't usually stuff mine until I'm on the last row or two. But at this angle, I might be able to get away with it. So we'll see. So we're just going to get our stuffing down, or sorry, I guess up into the head. And we want to have our head fairly firm. So what I'm doing is I'm packing it nice and tight up at the top in the crown of the head. And I'm kind of protecting the neck by holding around the neck. And we want to only stuff the head, nothing in the neck. And I'll just remind you right now, I'm using Red Heart Comfort yarn, which is a quite thick number 4 yarn. So mine might look a little bigger than yours, just due to the fact at how thick the yarn I'm using is. But everything is done exactly the same way, no matter what yarn you're using. You just might, like I might be able to add a little more stuffing to this because it's not gonna open up my stitches as much since it's so thick. Okay, that is pretty firm. And I've got him stuffed right to the opening of the neck. And then I'm not putting any stress on these neck stitches. And then when I do the body, I'm just going to bump my stuffing up to the neck, but not push it through. So if you need to stuff as you go, you want to do that now. I'm going to wait until I get to the last couple rows. So let's put our hook back in. All right, we got 3 rows left. So row 33, we are going to do 2 single crochets, 1 decrease, repeat that all the way around for a total of 18. 1, 2, and a decrease for 3, 4, 5, and a decrease for 6, 7, 8, and a decrease for 9, 10, 11, and a decrease for 12, 13, 14, and a decrease for 15, 16, 17, and a decrease for 18. Maybe I will add a little bit of stuffing in there right now. So we just got 2 rows left. Your body does not have to be stuffed as much as your head. He just needs to be able to sit, and you want to have the bottom flat for that. You don't want to have a curved bump on the bottom. So what I like to do is I kind of push my stuffing out, and I kind of leave a little space there so that when I get down to like 6 stitches, I can just stuff a little bit up inside of there. Row 34, we are going to do 1 single crochet, 1 decrease, repeat that all the way around for a total of 12. So 1 decrease for 2, 3, decrease for 4, 5, decrease for 6, 7, decrease for 8, 9, decrease for 10, 11, and a decrease for 12. Oh wow. If you're a regular viewer of mine watching me close, I must have really got a good angle here, because usually you know I struggle in these last couple of rows in my camera view. All right, and row 35, we're just going to do 6 decreases. So 1 decrease, 2 decreases, 3 decreases, 4 decreases, 5 decreases, and 6 decreases. Oh, the last one. There we go. It's in there. And then you're just going to slip stitch into the next stitch. Tie that off, leaving a little bit of a tail to close up your hole. All right, so let's take our stitch marker out. And now we're going to thread on our closing tail. Now you're just going to weave in and out of these top loops. Oh, I've got probably an angle here. In and out of these top loops all the way around. And then when you get to the end, you're just going to pull that closed nice and tight. And then what I like to do is just go to the next stitch, and then I'll tie my knot. And then we'll just hide that through the center and out the back somewhere. And give that a pull, and then you're just going to bring that knot to the inside. Now we'll also deal with these strings. So grab one of your arm strings. It doesn't matter which one. They're both done exactly the same way. And what you're going to do is you're going to find where that knot was you made, where you attached your arm. And you're just going to go in the hole right there. And come out somewhere in the center of the neck, the back of the neck. And do that to the other side. Make sure you keep track of which piece of yarn goes to which arm. So I'm just going to find my knot, and where my last stitch where I attached the arm is, and I'm just going to go in there. And this time I'm going to come out the same stitch that I went out with my other arm string. I can get it. There we go. And now we're going to give them one tie. So I still know which arm is which. One tie. Keep track of those ends. And now we're going to give them a pull, and we're going to bring these knots in, and the arms are going to kind of come forward a bit. Just be careful not to snap your string. You don't want to pull so hard that you snap your string. All right, now if you're happy with where they are, you're just going to give them a tie to secure them. And then we'll put those back inside. Someone told me about this trick about a year ago and I couldn't get it, and now I'm starting to get it. It works great for 2 pieces. Well, 1, 2. I've tried it with 4, but it didn't work, but I was also videoing, so I was kind of trying to do it fast. All right, so I'm just going to tuck them out somewhere. I don't know who gave me that tip, but thank you. I'm starting to get it now, if you're still watching. All right. Okay, we're going to do the muzzle now. And you can begin any way you prefer as long as you have the same amount of stitches in row 1. I'll be doing my knot with the loop on the end. Insert my hook. Grab my yarn and chain 1. Remember, that does not count as a stitch. That just attaches our yarn to our loop. And for row 1, we're going to do 6 single crochets into the loop over top of the tail. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then pull that tail to close that hole if you need to. Grab a stitch marker if you're using one, and for row 2 we're going to do 6 increases, so that's 2 single crochets in every stitch all the way around for a total of 12. So increase 1 and 2, increase 3 and 4, increase 5 and 6, increase 7 and 8, increase 9 and 10, and our last increase 11 and 12. Row 3, we're going to do 12 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Row 4, we're going to do 1 single crochet, 1 increase, repeat that all the way around for a total of 18. 1, increase, 2 and 3, 4, increase, 5 and 6, 7, increase, 8 and 9, 10, increase, 11 and 12, 13, increase, 14 and 15, 16, and our last increase, 17 and 18. Row 5, we're going to do 18 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, oh, I didn't catch all that piece, so I'm still on 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Row 6, we're going to do 8 single crochets, 1 increase, and repeat that around for a total of 20. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and an increase for 9 and 10. And repeat that again. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and our last increase, 19 and 20. And now we're just going to slip stitch into the next stitch. And we're going to tie that off, leaving enough of a tail to sew this on. So once or twice around should be lots. So that's twice around doubled. And I'm still going to cut a little extra. And I'm also going to take my stitch marker out. All right, we're going to do his little nose now, and I went with pink, but he might actually look better with black. I'm just going to stick with pink for the video again. So again, you're going to make your loop however you prefer. I'll be making my knot, the loop on the end. And we're just going to put 4 single crochets into this loop. So I'll grab my yarn, chain 1. Remember, that doesn't count as a stitch. That just attaches our yarn to our loop. And we're going to do 4 single crochets around. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're going to join with a slip stitch into our first stitch right there. What this does, it almost kind of makes it puff up a bit. So if you want a flat nose, or if you see this and think, oh hey, that would be great for eyes, this will puff it up a little bit. So if you're doing eyes, you might want to do 6. See, I pull mine and then I let it kind of puff up. And then you just tie that off. And we'll put that to the side for now. All right, we're going to add the muzzle now. So we're going to add a little bit of stuffing. Not a lot, just enough to hold the shape. You want it to be flat here. And you can always put a little bit more in when you get just about finished closing. I'll just put that there for now. And what we're going to do is we're going to line it up. So this is the row that we put our eye posts in. We're going to line it up 1 row down. So and I like to have the string at the bottom so you can't really see it when we attach it. And I'm just going to place it so that the top center is on that line. I'm holding it with my thumb. And I'm going to start pinning. So I'm going to start by pinning, maybe move it over one little bit. The center top right in that row. Then I'm going to come down and pin it on the bottom. And I'm not pinning it in any certain area, just wherever it falls naturally. And then I'll pin a couple on the side, and I'm letting it stay round. Usually I'm manipulate it a bit so it's flatter on the top, but I want this to be round. Just kind of have a look as you're pinning. And I'm going to put a pin in almost every stitch. The more pins you use, the less chance there is of it moving around on you. Actually, I might pull that one out a bit. Just because the way it is when you go in the round. This side, I'm going to pull out one little piece. I probably don't have to hold it anymore. Just keep checking that it's staying the way you want. Might put one. That's good, because I'll pull that pin out right away here. All right, so let's thread our needle on here. Maybe I should use purple, it shows up better. I just gotta be careful because it's plastic. All right. Almost forgot I haven't sewn a muzzle on for a while, but something I figured out a while back is if you elastic his arms down, they stay out of your way while you're trying to put the muzzle on. All right, now we can get started. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna go down under, we're gonna catch a piece of the head, come out, and then we're going to come up in our first stitch. We're going to go down the next stitch, catch a piece of the head. We're staying underneath the muzzle, and then that way, I know it doesn't matter when it's gray and gray, but if it was two different colors and you wanted a white muzzle, you don't want to see the stitches that you're putting in right now. Then you're going to come back up the next stitch. Be careful that you're not moving your nose around at all. Down the next stitch. Around a piece of the head. I'm playing with fire using this plastic needle. And you're just going to continue all the way around like that. So this is generally where I will talk a little bit about some places, like down in the description. As of lately, probably about the last 6 months for sure, I have all the yarn I used down in the description, the colors, the eye size, as well as if you ever want to share anything you've made with me, I have a Facebook craft page link there. And you can go onto that page, find a post, and in the comments you can leave a photo. I do have a few other social links down there, but I never go into them. It's actually been so long that I used them that they're offloaded off my phone for space. But I do try and comment back or reply to everything I see. So if I haven't commented on something, it means I haven't seen it. You're welcome to retag me. I love to see everything you guys make and come up with. I don't know if there's anything else. Oh, I have added a super thanks button. If you know how to use that. If you ever want to donate. There's a couple people that have, and I really appreciate that. And if you do click that button and donate, I will list you at the very end of my video with my super thanks friends. That's where anyone who's donated or sent me something, I put your name in there, and it'll be there forever every time I make a new video. All right, we're getting down to the end here. I just realized I wasn't watching if I was staying in the camera, but I kept my hand in the same spot, so I should be okay. So I'm coming up where my knot is. Remember, add stuffing before you close here if you need to. So I'm just going to go past that, maybe go down one more time, and then I'm going to come back. And that just kind of brings those stitches back together from where you crochet in the round, and they're kind of offset. And then down underneath somewhere, try not to stretch your stitches like I just did. I'm going to grab a stitch. So I'm grabbing a stitch that I just used to sew on the muzzle. And I'm going to tie it to that. Maybe. It's like I just forgot how to tie a knot. Holy, did I make a mess here? There we go. I don't know what I did there, but fixed. And then you'll just slide that in nice and close to the muzzle and out the back. Give that a cut. I'm just going to pick up my pins, and then we'll sew on the little pink part. All right, now we're just going to stuff our little tail on the inside. If you have a long one, you can always cut it. And I'm going to be placing mine above the first row, the loop, and around these two next stitches. So right about there is where I want my nose. So it covers these two stitches. Just make sure it's nice and centered. Then I am going to pin mine. Just so it doesn't move around on me. That's thick in there. Doesn't even want my pin to go in. All right, thread that on. I am going to use silver this time. Or I mean my metal needle. All right, so just like we did the muzzle part, you're going to go underneath the nose. Catch a piece of the muzzle, come up around a stitch. So here's where you're going to notice that you have to stay underneath. I'm going to come up my first stitch. Go down the next stitch. Just kind of keep in mind whether you're moving your nose around or not. I'm going to go around a stitch on the muzzle. staying underneath the pink part of my nose. Come up the next stitch. And then come down the next stitch, catch a piece of that muzzle underneath. And then we just kind of, this is the tricky part, especially if yours is nice and tight. Now you want to be careful that you're not going to see the pink here. But what we need to do is tie a little knot now. Just get rid of these pins. So, actually, you know, I could come up this one more time. See how there's a bit of a hole there? There. Don't want our nose coming off. So now we got to go back into the next stitch. That is attached. So I'm not going into the muzzle. I'm just coming down so I can catch somewhere to tie. And I think I'm going to tie it right here. I'll bring it up and show you as soon as I have a hold of it. So I am actually on one of my sewing stitches. I'm not in any of the stitches of the nose. And I don't know if that makes a difference. That's just how I always do it. So we want that nice and tight, and then we need to tuck that down under and inside your nose. So just come out somewhere, anywhere. And we got to pull that knot down and in. Okay, and then we'll cut that off. Now we're gonna do the eyes. So we're gonna bring them together like this. So you're gonna need a matching whatever color you used for the head and body. And you're going to start right here in the center somewhere, and you're going to go down and you're going to come out here on the inside of the eye. You want to leave a little bit for tying. And I lately now go around the eye post with my yarn, but if you have made your own eyes, you're just simply going to go down one row. So I came in right there, went around my post, and I'm going to come down one row, and I'm going to go over to the other side in the same stitch that matches where I am. So just like that. And again, I'll go around my eye post. If you're not doing safety eyes, you'll just go into the stitch beside it. Just make sure you're under, if you have a yarn eye, make sure you're underneath the eye so you don't see in case you pull the stitches. And we're going to pull that through to the center where we started. Okay. Now we're going to kind of push down and pull our eyes together. First we're going to knot, make sure I have the right side here. We're going to put a knot in, kind of like we did the arms. We're going to push our eyes down, give our string a tie or a pull. Push your eyes in and down. Just, you don't want to break your thread, so you just want to be gentle here. Slowly, bit at a time, but do be careful if you go too much. They can look cross-eyed, especially, like if you left them like this, it's not bad, but if you put white right here, it'll make it look like he's cross-eyed. All right, let's thread that back on. And again, you're just going to put those ends out the back somewhere. Oop. And then we'll cut those off. Now, if you have a hole in the front, like I do, you're just going to take your needle and you're just going to kind of move those stitches around and kind of make them go back how they're supposed to be. Just be careful if you're using a plastic needle. All right, now we're going to do the little white accent on the eye, and I'm going to do it this way so that you have option of doing them going up or down. So we're going to thread. I'm using white, so whatever color you've decided to use. And I'm going to start on the outside, center again, right where we added our eye posts. And I want to come in and out on the opposite side in the same stitch. So it's a bit tricky to get around them posts, but it is possible. You may have to squish your head a little bit. And going this way, now you can decide, do I want my little accents to go under? Do I want them to go up? Or you could also do a second piece and go up and under. So I'm going to do this one under since I did the other one over. So you could just see. So I did this one going kind of up, and this one I'll go down. So they each have different little eyes. So if you're going down, you're going to come on this side of the eye. If you're going up, you're going to come over on this side of the eye. Just a hair to the inside, and then, whoops, and then you're going to come up in the center somewhere to tie them off. And be very careful not to pull this too tight, or they could slide under your eyes. So now we got to do the matching thing on the other side. So you're going to want to go in the same place. I think I'm about right here. Just a bit on the inside bottom. And then pull that slowly because you don't want it to slide under the eye. And I think I did okay there. That looks cute. And then you're going to lightly tie that. And then slowly tighten it as you go. So I think I can get away with twice. And we're going to thread that onto our needle. And we're going to come in where we made our knot and out the back. And again, you want to pull this really lightly. So I like to watch. As soon as that knot is in, I stop pulling. And then we'll fix that little area of stitching. And then we'll lightly cut this, don't pull on it. And here's a better example of sweeping that thread in. So you just stick your needle in and then sweep down across, and that'll pull it to the inside. Might as well do the little eyebrows while we're working on the face before we start the ears. So let's grab a little, I'm going to be using black for my eyebrows. And for this guy, I went up 2 rows from the eyes, and I'm just a little hair over to the center. So I'm just about the center of the eye. And I got to find the same stitch on the other side. And you can put these anywhere you want. Obviously. Usually I start 1 stitch up, but I wanted these guys to have kind of quite slanted. So I'm going to go 1, 2 rows down, and I'm going 1, 2 holes over. So I'll show you that with my pin. So 1, 2, and then I'm skipping a hole and going in the next hole and coming up through the center where I will tie it off. Make sure you have lots on both sides. And again, you'll pull this one gently because you don't want to pull your eyebrow too tight. I know it seems a little bit weird doing this without the ears on, but the ears are a process, so I thought I would leave them till last and all together. So we'll have the face done and then we'll add the ears. So again, we're going to go down to 1, 2 rows. So there's our eye. We're going to skip a stitch and then go into that next stitch. And you can just double check before you see. Should I be in that stitch maybe? Yeah, so I'm 1 stitch. I skipped the wrong hole, so I'm skipping the hole right there. Okay, so we want to come up exactly where we came up for the other eyebrow. Pull that. And just double check that they're even. I think they're as even as they're going to be. And if you're happy with them, we'll give them a tie. And then we'll put them out the back as well. Again, you're going to do this nice and gentle. Once you get pulling, just watch, and when that knot is through, whoops, then you'll stop pulling. Use your needle to close that hole up. And we'll give that a cut. Don't pull on them. We'll do our little sweepy trick. All right, we're going to do the ears now, and you're going to want to pay attention or you're going to end up having one ear backwards. So we're going to start with the 2 inside pieces. So I'm going to be making mine pink. We're going to be making our loop. So again, you can make your loop any way you prefer, but I'll be doing my knot with the loop on the end, like I was going to be making a chain. Insert my hook. Grab my yarn, pull up, and chain 1. Remember, that does not count as a stitch. That just attaches our yarn to our loop. And for row 1, we're going to do 6 single crochets into the loop over top of the tail. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And you can pull that tail if you need to. Now we are going to chain 1, and then we're going to turn our work this way. Now starting in this first stitch right here, we are going to do 1 single crochet, 1 increase, repeat that around for a total of 9. So single crochet for 1, increase for 2 and 3, 4, increase, 5 and 6, 7, and an increase, 8 and 9. And then you're going to chain 1 and turn this way. Row 3, starting in this first stitch, you're going to do 2 single crochets, 1 increase, repeat that around to this side for a total of 18. So 1, 2, increase, 3 and 4, 5, 6, increase, 7 and 8, 9, 10, increase, 11 and 12. Then you're going to chain 1 and turn this way. Row 4, you're going to do 1 single crochet, 1 increase, repeat that around for a total of 18. So 1, increase, 2 and 3, 3, 4, increase, 5 and 6, 7, increase, 8 and 9, 10, increase, 11 and 12, 13, increase, 14 and 15, 16, and our last increase, 17 and 18, and then chain 1 and turn. All right, row 5, we're going to do 2 single crochets, 1 increase, repeat that around for a total of 24. So 1, 2, increase, 3 and 4, 5, 6, increase, 7 and 8, 9, 10, increase, 11 and 12, 13, 14, increase, 15 and 16, 17, 18, increase, 19 and 20, 21, 22, and our last increase, 23 and 24. Now we're going to put some stitches across the edge that we haven't touched yet, kind of our raw bumpy edge. So we're going to do a decrease, a single crochet in the center, and then a decrease and a decrease. So we'll have 5 stitches around the end here. So decrease, decrease. I'm just going in between my rows. And now we're going to do a single crochet into the center. And then we're going to do 2 decreases on this side. So just try and make them wherever you made your other ones. Just evenly across. There isn't really a set stitch to go into. So there's 1 decrease, 2 decreases, and then you're going to slip stitch into this first stitch. And then tie that off. You don't need much of a tail, just enough to be able to maneuver to the inside. So I'm just doing, I don't know, what is that, about 2.5 inches maybe? So your ear should look like this, the inside of your ear. So if you have just finished your first ear, I am going to put a screenshot in the next frame with a timestamp So you can go back and do your second inside of your ear. And then if you've done your second inside, just keep on watching and we'll move on to the next part. All right, now we're going to do the outside or the back of the ear. And again, we're going to make our loop, so you can make your loop any way you prefer, as long as you have the same amount of stitches. I'll be making my knot with the loop on the end. Insert my hook, grab my yarn, chain one, remembering that it does not count as a stitch. That's just attaching our yarn to our loop. And for row 1, we're going to do 6 single crochets into the loop over top of the tail. 1, whoops, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Pull that tail if you need to. Then you're going to chain 1 and turn. Row 2, we're going to do 1 single crochet, 1 increase, repeat that around for a total of 9. 1, increase, 2 and 3, 4, increase, 5 and 6, 7, increase, oops, I didn't get under 2 there, 8 and 9. Chain 1 and turn. 3, 2 single crochets, 1 increase, repeat that around for a total of 12. 1, 2, increase, 3 and 4, 5, 6, increase, 7 and 8, 9, 10, increase, 11 and 12, chain 1 and turn. Row 4, 1 single crochet, 1 increase, repeat that around for a total of 18. 1, increase, 2 and 3, 4, increase, 5 and 6, 7, increase, 8 and 9, 10, increase, 11 and 12, 13, increase, 14 and 15, 16, and our last increase, 17 and 18. And then we need to chain 1 and turn. Row 5, we're going to do 2 single crochets, 1 increase, repeat that around for a total of 24. 1, 2, increase, 3 and 4, 5, 6, increase, 7 and 8, 9, 10, increase, 11 and 12, 13, 14, increase, 15 and 16, 17, 18, increase, 19 and 20, 21, 22, and our last increase, 23 and 24. And now we're going to do 2 decreases, 1 single crochet, 2 decreases. So decrease, That's once, decrease, that's 2, single crochet in the center, and then 2 decreases. 1, 2, and then a slip stitch in that first stitch on the end. All right, and then we need to chain 1, and we want to put the 2 wrong sides together. So these are our 2 wrong sides. This is the right side. So we put our 2 wrong sides together, and then we're going to single crochet all the way around. So I want to start in my first, the back of my first decrease, and then the back of my first decrease on the gray. You want to make sure that the inside of the ear is facing you so that your stitches are going the right way. So we need 5 across the front, or whatever you want to call this. This is the part we'll be sewing on. 1, 2, 3, 4, it's a mess, I know. 4, just make sure you're going through both pieces across. Don't worry about your stitch count as long as you're getting all the way around, because you do kind of add, I seem to add a stitch when I do a slip stitch. So now I'm going to be going up and around the ear in every stitch on both sides. So you want to be going through like this. Making sure you're getting through both sides of that V. Alright, so we're getting close to the end here. You want to make sure all your little strings are tucked inside. And I'm probably going to have 1 extra stitch of 1 color. I'm not sure which one, but just kind of fake it here at the end, just so it looks nice. So whatever looks good in the front is what you want to do, but you want to end up at this very corner here, because that's going to be the top where you sew your ear down for the one side. So now I'm just going to slip stitch, and then I'm going to tie off, leaving a tail for sewing. So if your guy is facing you, this will be the ear that goes on this side. And now we'll do our other back. So just like the other one, you'll make your loop however you prefer. I'll be making my knot with a loop on the end. Insert your hook. Grab your yarn, chain 1, remembering that does not count as a stitch, that just attaches our yarn to our loop. And for row 1, 6 single crochets into the loop over the tail. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and pull that tail if you need to close that hole. Chain 1 and turn. Row 2, 1 single crochet, 1 increase for a total of 9. 1, increase, 2 and 3, 4, increase, 5 and 6, 7, and our last increase, 8 and, oops, again, I didn't get under that second one. Oops, 8 and 9. Chain 1 and turn. Row 3, 2 single crochets, 1 increase, repeat that around for a total of 12. 1, 2, increase, 3 and 4. 5, 6, increase, 7 and 8. 9, 10, and our last increase, 11 and 12. Chain 1 and turn. Row 4, 1 single crochet, 1 increase, repeat that around for a total of 18. 1, increase, 2 and 3, 4, increase, 5 and 6, 7, increase, 8 and 9, 10, increase, 11 and 12, 13, increase, 14 and 15, 16, and our last increase, 17 and 18. Chain 1 and turn. 5, 2 single crochets, 1 increase, repeat that around for a total of 24. 1, 2, increase, 3 and 4. 5, 6, increase, 7 and 8, 9, 10, increase, 11 and 12, 13, 14, increase, 15 and 16, 17, 18, increase, 19 and 20, 21, 22, and an increase, 23 and 24. And then we'll do our 2 decreases, our single crochet, and our 2 decreases across this edge. So decrease, 1, decrease, 2, single crochet in that center, and 2 decreases to the other side. 1, and another decrease for 2, and then we're going to slip stitch and chain 1. Now for doing the opposite ear, you're going to stay on this side, so your right side is facing you, and you want the right side of your inside facing you. So both right sides are facing you because you want to go around this way now so that you end up back on the top so your ears match when we go to sew them on. So now we're going to start in the first stitch of the ear on the inside and on the outside, and we're just going to go around in every stitch, making sure you're going through both sides of those loops. So it's just like you did the other ear, but you're going around the opposite way. Whoop. Alright, we're getting almost to the end here. So if you have an extra stitch in the pink or the gray, just make it work so that they're even. I think mine worked out. Make sure all your strings are tucked in, and you want to have 5 across here. So you'll be going in your 2 decreases, your single crochet, and then your 2 decreases. I got one little piece of thread sticking up there. I think it looks like I have an extra stitch here, but I think that's my slip stitch. And then you just slip stitch and tie off, leaving yourself a tail for sewing. So when your ears are facing you now, you should have the top strings matching on the top for each side. All right, we're gonna do our ears now, and we are gonna start by pinning where we're gonna have the top and the bottom of the ear. So starting at the eye, so this is the row that we put our eyes in. I'm 1 row up, the same row we put our eyebrows in. We're gonna go back 6 holes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And in that 6th hole is going to be the bottom of our ear. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. So we're 1 row up from where we put our eye post in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And in that 6th hole, just have a look. Make sure they are even. And now we're going to count up 7 rows, including the row that our pin is in. And we want to go straight up in line with our arms. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So somewhere in that 7th row up, you're going to put your pin in a hole. Do the same thing on the other side, starting where your other pin is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So right there. Then have a look If they seem okay to you, you may want to move them up a stitch, but I think mine are okay where they are. It looks like they're going straight down. And we're going to grab our ear, and we're going to attach our thread. And we're going to start by coming behind the stitch and into where our pin is. So we're going to go around that stitch. And now we're going to do one stitch, one row, one stitch, all the way down 7 times for each row and each stitch. So we're going to come into that, whoops, wrong way. We're going to go into that first stitch of the ear. We're going to go down 1 row. Remember, we got to keep in line with this pin. So down a row, around a stitch, into the next stitch of the ear, down a row. Go back on this one, around a stitch, into the next stitch of the ear, down a row and around a stitch, into the next stitch of the ear, down a row and around a stitch, into the next stitch of the ear, down a row and around a stitch, into the next stitch of the ear, and then our last one, we're going to go down a row in where our pin is, around the stitch, and into the next stitch. And then we're just going to tie that off in the back. Whoops, the pin come out. Somewhere nice and close against the ear. And then we're going to go in right against the ear again. And we want to grab a bit of stuffing. We want to kind of go through the head and then come out up here in the center of the head, kind of even with where the bottom of our ear row ended. Then we're just going to let that hang out there for now while we do the other ear. So again, remember, we did this backwards on the other side so that we would have our strings on the top. And we're just going to do exactly the same thing. I might have to do mine upside down. We'll see how this goes. But to start, we're going behind the pin and around that stitch. So right where the pin is and around the stitch. And we're going to go through that first stitch of the ear. What is this string? Whoops. Don't want that in there. Okay, I might be able to do it like this. Then we're going to go down a row and around a stitch through the next stitch of the ear, down a row and around a stitch, through the next stitch of the ear, down a row and around a stitch, through the next stitch of the ear, down a row and around a stitch, through the next stitch of the ear, down a row and around a stitch, through the next stitch of the ear, and down in our last row, right where that pin is, around that stitch, and into the last stitch on the ear. Oh, I forgot about that guy. That's the back side of our ear. We'll have to put that string in. And then again, you're just going to tie somewhere in one of our stitches right close to the ear. And then we're going to go down, and I think I was one row down when I tied that other one. Yeah, so I'm going in the same row that I did, but you don't have to. And then you're just going to come out the same spot that your other one came out of. Keep track again of which string belongs to which ear. We'll give it one tie, so we're going to do just like we did the arms. And wrap them around the head and turn them around. Now you can leave them like this and just tie it, or you can pull it so that this kind of comes in, and it'll kind of give them little cheeks, depending on how firmly stuffed your head is. So I bring the ears in a little bit. Remember, this will relax a touch. So if you do it a little too much, it will loosen up a bit. So I'm going to go about there. Now we'll tie that better a couple of times, and then we'll get our ends back on and shoot them inside the head somewhere. Cut those. We'll just put this little piece in if you haven't already. I'm just going to stick it inside the ear. And if it's short like mine, you just do like I did. You'll put your needle in. Needle in all the way. And then I'm just going to pull it through. And we can cut that off now. All right, let's set this guy free. He's been tied up way too long. All right, I'm gonna do the little tuft of hair and the whiskers just in case you guys are just doing the mouth and you're not doing scarf or the bow. I wasn't planning on putting the little tuft of hair on this one because I'm making the girl, but I will just show you what I did. So I just have a couple scraps of gray. I think I did 6 on my mouse. 8 is kind of a nice number to use. So you're just going to stick your hook down in the center and around that center loop. fold your yarn in half, grab your yarn, whoop, you're going to pull it through, and then you're going to use these 2 loops, and you're going to pull these ends through the loops. Then you're just going to pull it up, and then that will give you your little strands of hair. You will want to pull these and tighten them, but I'm taking mine out for the girl. And then for the whiskers, I'm just taking a scrap piece of yarn and dividing it into sections. It's probably about 6 inches long. If you have black embroidery thread or white, it probably will look better. But I'm just using what I have. So I'm separating those into all 4 pieces out. And then I'm going to take 2 of them. Now they're going to be way longer than I want, but they're a lot easier to handle when they're longer. And then I just went kind of even with the top of the nose, the pink part of the nose. And I just skipped 1 hole and went down to the next. And that's where I'm going to put my thread. And then just like you did the little tuft of hair, you're going to pull those through. You'll make your loop. Grab the ends of the other side and pull them through. And then just decide where you want to cut them. They will stick out the shorter they are. So I did about 2 fingers to start with. You can't see, but 2 fingers. And then cut them. And then if you need them shorter, you can always make them shorter. But if you cut them too short, you can't make them longer. So the best is to do them longer first and then trim them. And then I just kind of separated them so they kind of stood out a bit. So just like that. And then you'll do that to the other side. So go exactly the same way you did. So I skipped a hole and then went just under the hole. This might be a little lower. Fold them over your hook. Make sure you go the same way. So I went from the bottom up when I put my hook in. So do that same thing on the other side. And then your 2 fingers. And then just separate those out. Now I haven't tried it yet, but I think if you put water on them and then kind of straighten them out, that would work, and let them dry straight. You might have to do something to hold them straight. I guess you could do that first, or I have seen people use straightening irons on their yarn, but I would do that before I stuck it on the mouse. Just be careful you don't melt your yarn. And we better also do the tail. I kind of cheaped out on the tail. I'm just doing a chain and slip stitches. But you could do a little round of 4 or 6 might be a little big. So I'm going to leave a tail. And then you need to make your loop for chaining. I'll be doing my knot with the loop on the end. Insert my hook, and we are going to chain 21. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. And you can make yours longer if you want. I just picked 20. And then in your second chain from the hook, we're just going to slip stitch 20 slip stitches all the way down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and make sure your chain isn't twisting as you're going. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, and then just tie that off, leaving yourself a bit of a tail. And then you're just going to kind of see where your mouse sits naturally, and I'm just going to pick somewhere in the center, a few rows up. So I'm just a little bit up from where he sits. So if he was sitting here, I'm 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm about 6 rows up. And in the center, I'm going to go in one side. I'm just going to get my thread on there. And I'm going to go just down one stitch or one row. So I'm just doing that. So from here to here for one side of my tail. Then I'm just going to do the same thing on the other side. So I'll get my yarn in there. So I have my one string here, so I'm just going to come over a stitch or two, and I'm going to come down that row and come out where my other thread is. So it's going to look like this. And then you're just going to tie this nice and tight. Try and get that knot on the inside if you can. And give it a tie, and then we'll just thread those ends inside the body. Oh, it didn't work that time. Well, I did pretty good. That's the only time it's not going in. I really need to make myself a threader. Then you're just going to go in where you tie that knot and come out somewhere. And there we got our little tail on. Okay, so if you're just here to do the mouse alone, I'm just going to say thanks for watching. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit the subscribe button, click the bell. Likes, shares, and comments are always appreciated. And if you're sticking around to do the scarf or the bow, we'll be doing the scarf next. And I will put a screenshot in the next frame with a timestamp so you can skip to do the bow. All right, we're going to do the scarf now. So I'm just going to make my knot with the loop on the end because we are going to be making a chain. So however you make your chain, you'll have to start that way. And we are going to chain 51. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51. And now we're going to do 50 half double crochets starting in the second chain from the hook. And for a half double crochet, it's exactly the same as a single crochet, only you yarn over first. So yarn over into that second chain from the hook, grab your yarn and pull up, grab your yarn and go through the 3 loops on your hook. So that's 1, yarn over, 2, so just remember to yarn over first, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and as you're going through, make sure your chain isn't twisting on you. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, and 50. And don't worry if you're off count by a little bit. You're the only one that's going to know. Leave yourself a little bit of a tail. And because this end is rounded a bit, I'm not worrying about weaving these ends in. I'm just going to tie them. So pick your front side. So I want this to be my front. So I'm going to kind of tie them on the back side. I just want my knot to be a little bit on the back. And I'm just going to tie it one more time so it's secure. And these, I'm going to use these ends for part of the fringe. So I want to have 3 strands on each side. So I already have one here. So I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm just going to take my hand and I'm going to wrap it around 5 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we'll cut that off and then we'll pinch it up at the top and we'll cut that off. That'll give us 2 strands for the side that we tied off on and 3 strands for the other side. All right, so we're going to stick that, our 3 strands, we're going to put that on the side where we started. So I'm just going in the very point underneath 2 strands of yarn, so like a V. Fold our yarn in half, just like we did the tuft and the whiskers. We'll pull that through. And you could grab it with your hook, but I find sometimes I miss one, so I just stick my fingers in and grab it. And then we'll tie that and tighten it. And then for this other side, we are going to go in kind of where we tied our knot. So if you can kind of grab a bit of a stitch and under your knot, then you're going to put your 2 strands in on your hook, fold them over. You're going to pull them through. So you have your loop. And then when you grab the ends of these strands, you're also going to grab the ends of your tail strands. Pull them through and then tighten. And then we will cut those so they're a little shorter. And I have to go at least to this length where my ends are. So I'm just going to cut them all about the same. And there's your little scarf you can tie around the neck. All right, for the bow, I'm going to be making this one in the half double crochet, but you can do them in different sizes. So this is just a chain, if you just want to make a chain. And then I did this one in single crochets. And then, so we have the half, which we'll be doing, and then I have a double crochet one. So they'll all be exactly the same, only you'll change the stitches going down back the chain. Okay. All right, we're going to start by making a chain. So make your loop however you prefer. I'm going to leave a little bit of a tail. Then I'm going to be doing my knot with the loop on the end. Insert my hook, and then we are going to chain 31. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, and 31. Now starting in the second chain from the hook, we are going to do 30 half double crochets across and a half double crochet. It's the same pretty much as a single crochet, only you yarn over first. So yarn over, insert in that second chain from the hook, grab your yarn and pull up, grab your yarn and go through the 3 loops on your hook. So that's 1, 2, remember to yarn over, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and make sure as you're going your chain isn't twisting. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. And again, if you're off by a stitch or two, nobody's going to know but you. And then leave yourself a tail for weaving in. So I'm just going to tie these 2 together. Since this end's kind of rounded, it'll make this end kind of rounded as well. I'm just making sure that my knot is kind of on the back side. And then we're just going to weave that in. So grab your darning needle. And I'm just checking. I want to make sure I'm on the back side. And I'm just going to weave that up through about 1/4 of the way up. Because this will be the little end that hangs down. And I just want to make sure I'm through that. And then I'm not too worried about where it ends up. So that should be lots. Just pull that back so it's not scrunched up, and then cut those ends. Now we're going to get a little chunk of thread. So we're going to be tying this around, wrapping this around to make our bow. So I don't know, I probably got about 1.5 feet. Plus we're going to have to sew it or tack it on. So just get yourself a nice little chunk. And now what we're going to do is we're going to find our middle. And then we're just going to loop one side down and then loop the other side down. So we're basically making the bow without tying it. Just make sure your top is even and what's hanging down is even. Then you're going to, you'll feel like you're going to need 3 hands for this. So I'm using my finger on the back to hold that thread, a little bit of a tail. Now I'm going to wrap, and when you do your first wrap and you pull, just make sure you're even. So I need a little bit more on that side, so I'm just going to move that over a bit. And then once you feel like you have it centered on both sides, you're just going to wrap it a couple of times nice and tight. So 3 or 4 times. And then we'll tie it on the back side. Oops, sorry, little mouse. Nice and tight. Don't break your thread. And if you're happy with it, you can secure it. And there, simple as that. You got yourself a nice little bow. See if I can move this without knocking everything over. And then I couldn't decide if it should be in the middle or on the side. So if you put it on the side, that looks cute. Or if you need to put it in the middle, that looks cute as well. And all you're going to do is just wrap. You can either just tie it once or twice here or give it a good little stitch here. I'm not going to do that on camera because this is already long enough. And with all we've done so far, I'm pretty sure you can do that on your own. All right. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, please hit the subscribe button and click that bell. Not only does that help me out, but you will also be notified every time I load a new video, as well as any likes, shares, and comments are always appreciated. And I'd like to give a big thank you to my super thanks friends listed at the end of all my videos. And as always, take care, be safe, and happy crocheting.